One Eye, I seek your guidance in these desperate times. As the world plunges further into chaos, my viewers have abandoned me. Nobody watches my videos anymore. Please, what shall I do?
You know what you have to do.
What do you mean?
Review the sequel to Speckles the Tarbosaurus.
But you're not in the sequel.
I have retired.
But my entire Speckles review is only so popular because of you and the edgy songs I attributed to you. Without you, I am nothing.
Look at the popularity of your other reviews. Look at the people you have inspired. Look at the smaller channels that you have helped growing. You do not need me to be successful. Now give the people what they want.
Thank you, One Eye. I will follow your advice. Time to review this movie. Speckles the Tarbosaurus 2, The New Paradise, aka Dino King Journey to Fire Mountain, is the coronavirus of dinosaur movies. It originated somewhere in East Asia. It has actually been known for quite some time prior to 2020, and I foolishly assumed it just would never reach the West. However, once it had set foot on the internet, it spread across YouTube, and it has infected my entire comment section. And since pretending like it doesn't exist will not make it go away, it is time to finally face it. On that note, please do not harass fans of these Speckles movies. Everybody has their own opinion, and just because you happen to agree with mine does not mean you should bully people that genuinely like these movies. And if these fans continue to feel harassed by my fans, I give them full permission to block these people and delete their comments. And with this out of the way, I hope I can now finally continue with the actual video. Dino King Journey to Fire Mountain follows after the success of the 2012 movie Speckles the Tarbosaurus, which wasn't even the first South Korean Tarbosaurus hit. That would be Tarbosaurus the mightiest ever, and no matter what Wikipedia says, the documentary came first. I saw the Korean version on YouTube back in 2009. There's even an edgy tribute video from that time still around to prove it. Interestingly, all three were directed by the same guy, Han Sang-ho. He basically had to make a Tarbosaurus movie 3 times in a row, with each one being in a different style. First, a nature documentary with a narrative.
The law of nature is clear that only the strongest survive.
Then a very dramatized adventure movie that cannot decide whether it wants to be a documentary for little children.
It's a Rapanomamus. Their moms give birth, but us dinosaurs lay eggs. Isn't that fascinating?
Or a serious drama.
He came all the way out here, looking for a mate.
And finally, this. But what is this exactly? Well, the tagline says it's an epic Jurassic adventure for the whole family. And there's at least one word in there that is definitely not true. Some people say this movie is worse than the first one, while others say it's better. And you can already tell how the sequel could be so polarizing just by looking at it. While the models in the first Speckles movie were horribly inaccurate, they were still going for a style that was supposed to look realistic. But this sequel has much more colorful models with bigger, more expressive eyes, and a more cartoony design. If the previous Tarbosaurus baby had a blocky head, then this one is within Mammoth Cube territory. If I view the movie on its own, this style strikes a good balance between realism and cartoon, definitely better than a certain Pixar movie. However, when comparing it to the style of the previous movie, this does not feel like an official sequel at all. I can easily see how someone who liked the grittiness of the first Speckles movie would absolutely hate the cartoony look in this one. And if the appearance wasn't enough, every dinosaur now also talks and moves their lips. Unlike in the first movie where Speckles was the only voice you would hear, and even that was in form of an inner monologue. At least the lip movement means they fully embrace their status as a kids movie, unlike the butchered Walking with Dinosaurs movie.
Whatever happens, we have to remain calm. Remember, they can smell fear.
Sorry, that's not fear. Juniper, are you okay?
I think I just stepped in some fear.
And if you have any doubt that this movie is targeted at a younger audience, just look at the Korean marketing. The marketing department also somehow got Eric Goldberg, who is an actual real animator from Disney, to promote their film.
I'd call it a 10.
I wonder how much money they paid him for this.
I'd say it's a 10.
So what is the plot of the speckled sequel? Well, luckily the trailer on YouTube provides a handy synopsis. Default is about the untold story of the IMF negotiations during the foreign exchange crisis. What? Ah, never mind, I found an official synopsis. An action-packed family adventure that combines the realism of walking with dinosaurs with the heart of Finding Nemo. Well, if the movie is so open about where its inspirations come from, I guess I am no longer allowed to call it a ripoff. See also, Disney's Dinosaur, Walking with Dinosaurs, the movie, Finding Nemo, and Taken. Wait, what?
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
It gets weirder, because this section also lists The Holy Road, which is a sequel novel to Dances with Wolves, in which the protagonist's wife and child are kidnapped. Come on, you can't just link any random kidnap story with this movie. In that case, even 101 Dalmatians would qualify as a comparison.
99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, and patch 105. 105?
The movie opens with Speckles Jr. being chased by a Centaurosaurus, who for some reason is the old model from the first movie. Maybe this is supposed to make it easier to connect this to the previous movie, but it just makes this Centaurosaurus stick out even more among the other, more cartoony dinosaur models. Hey, the Dinosaur Planet Bros are back! As I already said, in this movie all the dinosaurs talk. Junior has a very whiny voice. But he's supposed to be a wimp in this story, so I guess I cannot complain about that. Speckles is no longer voiced by the dude from the first movie.
Bring it on, you filthy beast!
Why did you run away? Those beasts are your prey.
In theory, this deeper voice fits Speckles better. However, I find his actual performance to be pretty bad, because his attempt to sound hard-boiled and experienced is just to whisper everything.
You're a king. Don't you want to find the actual killers and avenge your best friend? You saved me.
Which makes it so much funnier whenever he says Tarbosaurus.
You're a Tarbosaurus. As a Tarbosaurus, we're Tarbosaurus, born hunters. You call yourself a Tarbosaurus? You're a Tarbosaurus. Never forget who you are. You're a Tarbosaurus.
Or screams Junior's name.
Junior! 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 Junior!
Dad! To be fair, his quiet lines seem to be less a problem of the voice actor and more of the audio mixing of the English dub itself, because every character's voice in this movie is way too quiet, while the sound effects and music are way too loud.
This is none of our business.
And so, vengeance was mine. Yes, indeed, vengeance was... Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, everyone. There are no guards. It's not nice of you to keep us waiting. My clock won't hold.
It's like I'm watching Tenet.
Do you see this, Junior? This is our land. I fought tooth and nail for this land. Soon, this will be yours.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
You ruled all of that?
Yes.
Now it is time for them to go hunt a... No! 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 Why do these Tarbosaurus always hunt Protoceratops?
You're a disgrace. As a Tarbosaurus, I refuse to have a toothless son. When will you grow up?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I gotta say, I think they made Speckles too unlikable in this movie. In the first movie, he was supposed to be the hero character for every child that was watching, even though we all know who the real hero of that first movie was. And now they have turned him into a character that no child likes, the disapproving dad. Speckles shouldn't be that harsh to his son. He's still traumatized from losing his mother, losing his siblings, and almost drowning. He's so traumatized that they're actually showing flashbacks from the first movie. But all these do is highlight how much the animation styles differ between the two movies. They should have just reanimated those short scenes, especially considering that 30 seconds later we see that they made a new model for Blue Eyes anyway.
Blue Eyes.
And at a later point in the movie, Junior has another nightmare about drowning, in which they use his new model as well. The next day, Junior gets captured by a pack of raptors, and I have realized that it is futile to complain about how badly feathered they are. But the raptor pack got a colorful cast of characters. There's the Indoraptor.
Hey, Dino. Isn't that cute?
Hey, Dino. Isn't that cute?
Hey, Dino. I told you to stop copying me.
Hey, Dino. You told me to stop copying you.
You have no idea how annoying this character is. There's a raptor from Primal Carnage, there's Raptor Red, and there's a blue raptor who swears.
Oh, crap.
I'm gonna call that one Rick.
Oh my god, seriously, I'm wasting my breath.
Yep, that's definitely me. The raptors managed to escape with Junior by throwing Speckles off a bridge.
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. Start the new rescue helicopter. Hey!
Nah, Speckles doesn't need a helicopter because he instantly teleports back to the top, just like in the first movie. The raptors take Junior to a compound where they keep many other young dinosaurs. And strangely enough, the first thing this reminded me of is the compound from Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole, a movie that most people probably forgot even existed. Here, Junior meets a Tarbosaurus girl.
My name is Junior. I'm Blue.
Must resist Jurassic World reference. Whoa, who is that? Super long claws, slit pupils, a mohawk, constantly hisses, talks in a creepy way.
Hey, are you scared?
Gives the finger, and his name is Slash?
Stop it, Slash.
Ladies and gentlemen, we found our new edgelord. Funnily enough, this nightmare of a Therizinosaurus isn't even the first Therizinosaurus model in the Speckles franchise. And he's accompanied with a Carnotaurus that must have somehow traveled halfway around the globe, with an equally edgy name.
Blade!
Eventually, Junior interrogates a pterosaur.
You must see a lot of things up there. Let's make a deal. I will give you all of my food if you tell us everything.
Junior, you know you are a predator. You could just threaten to eat him instead of giving up your own food. That's something that annoys me about the sequel. It's going so far into the hunky-dory kids movie direction that we have a compound with both carnivores and herbivores, yet at no point do any of the carnivores think about eating some of their inmates. There's even a scene where Junior brings food to some little ceratopsian, whose only character trait is that he always sneezes. I guess you could call it a Coronosaurus.
Why?
Beyond the wall is a mountain. A mountain of fire.
Oh, that's why they call it that.
And it is this that the raptors serve.
The relationship between the raptors and this beast also brings up just more questions. Why do the raptors serve it? Why don't they just run far away? And there's no way the raptors are able to catch and gather enough children to feed this gigantic beast and its 3 babies, and also collect enough food to keep all those dinosaurs alive. And then you need to consider that the raptors themselves need something to eat as well. This setup reminds me of How to Train Your Dragon, except in that movie you can explain these questions away by the fact that all those dragons, including the giant one they served, could fly to cover large distances. Also, why do the babies of the monster sound like the Orcosaurus from Dinosaur Planet? Meanwhile, Speckles encounters an ankylosaur named Psy. No, not that Psy. Well, we know what happens next. Psy now tells his story, and for some reason it is told in a weird flash animation style, because the contrast between Dino King 1 and Dino King 2 wasn't enough already. And his love interest is not an ankylosaur. How do I keep finding interspecies relationships in the crap I am watching?
Daisy! Daisy!
Can nobody scream names normally in this movie?
Daisy!
My vision may be poor, but my smell is the best of all the dinos.
My son, he smells like me.
Oh, that poor kid. What happens when you get hungry? You're a meat eater and I'm made of meat.
I told you before, your skin is too tough.
See, they have an actual excuse why a predator would team up with an herbivore without eating him. Which is why it's so frustrating that none of the carnivores in the compound think about this.
This way!
Through the ravine?
Yes, but I really don't like the smell of this. We should go round.
We can't. We don't have time.
Hey, I've got a bad feeling about this!
Yay, 2 movie references for the price of 1. No. No! Giant scorpions? What the fuck? Not only were giant scorpions extinct several 100 million years before dinosaurs showed up, but they also were not bigger than a freaking Tarbosaurus. When did this turn into a Primeval episode? Forget everything I said about carnivorous cartoon dinosaurs working together with herbivores. This right here is where the Speckles franchise jumped the shark. Speckles defeats all the scorpions, but not before getting stung.
Oh no! Hey, are you okay? What the? No, I'm sinking! Speckles! No! I can't go out like this!
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they're being swallowed by a giant sandworm from Dune. In a cave below the sand, they meet Blue's mother, who serves as a new love interest for Speckles.
I saved your life and you attack me?
Not a huge fan of that voice.
And you might be who?
I'm Fang.
Wait, Fang? Her name is Fang?
There were healing herbs nearby. Consider yourself lucky.
That must have been awkward, putting those herbs on his wound with her short little arms. They reach an oasis where a pack of Carnotaurus robs eggs from a herd of sauropods. And of course the Carnotaurs are red like in Disney's Dinosaur. Wait, isn't that one a Primal Carnage skin? Am I crazy? Or does this movie have several Primal Carnage dinosaurs? They decide to help the sauropods because, again, this is a kids movie where everybody has to work together. It's not like the first Speckles movie was all about survival of the strongest or something like that. No, instead we get wholesome interspecies mouth-to-mouth. And in the middle of the fight, we get snap zooms that make this look like a trailer for a fighting game.
Ankylosaurus, aka Butt Whipper.
Now, you're probably thinking this Carnotaurus pack was in some way related to Blade, but no, they never even mentioned again.
Blade, who's waiting for you on the outside?
I don't really know.
Then what was the point of having these specifically be Carnotaurus? Did the filmmakers watch Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and decided they needed a scene in which a Carnotaurus gets beat up by a Tyrannosaurid? Oh hey, I haven't heard this annoying squealing in years.
Quick question, what's with all the wailing? Are they in pain?
You idiot. That's how they communicate.
So, what are the rules of this movie? Why can certain carnivores and herbivores speak to each other, but others apparently not?
And we've got to get out of here. We can do it if we work together. Don't be silly. It should be really easy. Or are you too scared?
Let me quickly build up my edgelord power.
You'll regret that! Stand down.
What's your plan, big shot?
It's quite simple. Listen up. Not bad.
Wow, that is good. I'm actually impressed.
Yeah, I am quite amazing, aren't I?
The brilliant escape plan is waiting till most of the raptors are asleep and then throwing rocks at the remaining ones. How has nobody else thought of that yet? But these 3 raptors are already waiting for them.
I told you I'd deliver on our deal.
What deal? He's not a carnivore. Sooner or later they're gonna feed him to the monster anyway. Does he think he's a raptor just because he got sharp claws? Or does he have to be evil simply because he got slit pupils?
It's time for dinner, boys.
Dinner, boys.
I hope you like barbecue.
I'm hungry.
So am I, actually.
Time.
Dinner time.
Time.
Dinner time. Dinner time.
Dinner time.
Why do you say dinner time if you just throw them back into the compound instead of eating them immediately? Meanwhile, Speckles finally realizes what a terrible father he is.
I should not have been so hard on Junior. He was healthy. That's all that really mattered. His capture was all my fault. I should have protected him. But I failed him. And now I may never again have the chance to tell him I love him.
The next day, they finally catch up to the raptors.
Hey, you!
Yes.
I want you to draw me like one of your French girls.
Where did you take our children?
Why did you take our kids?
Is he mentally thick?
They interrogate the Indoraptor to find out where the compound is, and then Sai knocks him over a cliff. But the raptor clings to the wall because it would be too brutal for a kid's movie to have him fall to his death. No, instead the fucking canyon walls close in and crush him. Why did this suddenly turn into the ending of Saw 5? Their path gets blocked by boulders, but luckily the sauropod herd shows up. So they can replicate this scene from Disney's Dinosaur. And then we get what is simultaneously the best and worst scene of this entire movie. Yes, they're doing an over-the-top fight scene in the style of Zack Snyder's 300. I don't even need to change the music. And the way it just abruptly cuts off is hilariously awkward.
Let's go!
Wait!
Stop right there!
Oh boy, I can't wait for this epic showdown with Slash and the Raptors. Holy crap, how strong are your claws? Unfortunately, this is where his voice actor officially gave up.
My tail! My tail! Let go of me! Blade, help me! I take it all back! My claw won't hold! My claw! Won't...
Junior and the other children come across a ravine with a river, and they remind us one more time that Junior is afraid of water. And as much as I hate that they reuse the footage from the first movie, even I have to admit that this gives Junior an actual character arc. You see, I can say positive things about this movie.
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City.
They surface in an underground cave.
What the? What?
Yeah, that's an appropriate reaction. What the hell are those things? Lizards? Are we in a dinosaur movie from the 60s? Speckles and Fang show up and rescue them.
When will you ever change?
Huh?
You should be able to take those guys head on without running away. You should be ashamed of yourself.
But Dad, I went back for Dusty.
Enough.
What the hell, Speckles? You already went through the part of your character arc where you admit that you were too harsh on your son. Why are you now acting like an asshole again? This is exactly what I mean when I say he is too unlikable in this movie. Anyway, now that they are in the cave, it is time to finally meet the monster of Fire Mountain.
It's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become. The nightmare's just begun. I must confess that I feel like a monster.
What the fuck am I looking at? Is that a fucking dragon? Remember when I said the Speckles franchise jumped the shark with the giant scorpions? Well, they fucking did it again! Imagine telling someone who just watched the first movie that Speckles eventually fights against a fucking dragon! I don't even know what this thing is supposed to be! It's like some unholy amalgamation of a great Jaguars, Smaug, the Sarcosuchus from Dino Time, and the badass? Or maybe I was wrong about One Eye taking refuge in North America, and he actually mutated into this fucking thing. Anyway, the monster is buried by the ceiling collapsing.
No! Junior!
My son. I'm sorry. I was wrong to judge you. Never again.
Well, now we finally get that confession by him. Junior wakes up after Speckles sheds a tear and the Ceratopsian sheds some viruses, but now they are trapped in the cave and cannot get out. It's just like the scene from Disney's Dinosaur, except they've already had their sauropod ex machina earlier in the movie, so now they have to come up with something else.
It's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I
feel like a monster.
What? No! How is this thing still alive? They're no longer jumping the shark, they're jumping a fucking megalodon. They've managed to break every single lava scene I've ever complained about. Unless this truly is supposed to be an actual fucking dragon. The monster crashes into the wall and they escape while the cave collapses, finally killing it this time. Unless they bring it back for the next Dino King sequel.
Until next time.
I don't think so. How about a little kiss before we go?
Why does he suddenly want to kiss her? This comes out of nowhere. Why does this movie feel like hinting at another interspecies relationship in its last few minutes?
I'm just sad I didn't get to find out how you taste.
And I guess that's the most fitting way to end this review. Dino King Journey to Fire Mountain is fucking bonkers. It manages to be both better and worse than the first Speckles movie, depending on how you view its shift to a more cartoony style with straight up fantasy elements. The designs of the characters are a better fit for a CGI dinosaur movie than those of Pixar's The Good Dinosaur, even if that one has better animation from a technical standpoint. Nevertheless, I have to acknowledge what a huge amount of effort went into the animation of this movie. So even if it looks somewhat sloppy during the fight scenes, for a South Korean movie this is still very impressive. As no family members of the protagonist get killed or raped in this movie, the tone is much more consistent and child appropriate. But it's still kinda insane that this movie features characters getting crushed, falling into lava and emerging out of lava. And even if no dinosaur villain will ever reach One Eye's level of edginess, the combination of Slash and the monster of Fire Mountain at least comes close. However, any genuine enjoyment I could get out of this movie is killed by how bad the English dub and the sound mixing is. So just like the first Speckles movie, I personally can only watch this ironically. But if you are a genuine Dino King fan, do not let my video diminish your enjoyment of this movie. And even if you agree with my statement, leave the people who genuinely like this movie alone. And with that said, after over 2 years and hundreds of comments, the South Korean Tarbosaurus trilogy has been completed at last. I can finally rest now. I wish you all a happy new year.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.